Hey, yo, what's poppin', people? Oh gosh, that was a terrible intro. Yo, what is poppin', people? This is King Tyrex here, back with a new video. And you wanna know what video this is? As you can clearly see from the title, it is What If Deku Was the Reincarnation of Kaido? Part 3, baby! And as you can see, or as you can hear, I guess, I got way more energy this time around. You wanna know why? Because I'm doing this at like 4 o'clock and no one's home. Lol. I really just said lol. Anyways, where did I leave off on? Oh yeah, so Deku literally just threw the ball, and on Aizawa's device, basically, it showed that Izuku got Infinity on the throwing test. So Aizawa was basically like, you know what? Nah, fam, I am done here. So he basically just had the kids do the rest of the tests. He said the same thing as in canon, where basically, I keep on saying basically, but yeah, whoever scored last, they will end up being expelled from UA. Needless to say, Izuku is not first place here. On the on the 50-meter dash, let's see. Izuku actually was able to outpace Bakugo in this. Number one, because of his much larger stature, and two, because he was just that fast. But it's not like it was a whole cakewalk for him or anything. It was like Izuku basically got like 2 seconds. Momo still kind of outpaced him, getting like 1 second, because she can literally create anything for this test. And so long as she knows like the molecular structure and all that. But most of the other tests, Izuku does fairly well in, such as, what do you call that thing? Let's see. Oh yeah, that jumping test. The side jumping test, that's pretty much the only thing that he didn't do too well on. That and the whole sit-up thing as well. Nobody really did that well, honestly. But it's not like it really mattered in the end, because Izuku just did so much better than all the rest in pretty much every other test. Even when it came on to the grip strength test, Izuku literally just crushed the machine. Like, everybody was looking at Shoji and being able to get such a high score. But when they hear Izuku's machine get crushed, they look over to him and their jaws just drop when they see it. Needless to say, Izuku gets first place here. But I'm pretty sure nobody really cares about this part. So that's why I am not really going to mention this part so much. But what people really do care about is the battle trial art. This is where things get interesting because of the fact that, well, yes, All Might is a teacher still in this timeline. Izuku has a different suit in this timeline. What kind of suit could I give him, honestly? Well, let's see. This is quite literally just it, honestly. He basically just wears one of those plain white ninja suits, or a samurai suit in this case. You can basically call him like a walking Ronin or something along these lines when wearing this outfit, because, well, he doesn't need that much support here. He just needs like a sort of flashy costume, and that's specifically what he got. He realized that, well, his body is pretty much already flashy, so he really just needed something to cover up, at least like around his lower waist. And that's a part where it would really hurt, honestly. He's never really been injured before, or at least severely anyways. When the girls see Izuku though, oh jeez, they see him, okay. Like, people like Uraraka, they will start to blush, honestly. Because they see Izuku is literally rock solid. He looks like the Rock Johnson, okay? Oh my gosh, I caught myself up. But, you guys get the point. But, Bakugo and a couple of the other guys, they're kind of jealous, honestly. Oh yeah, and another in this timeline, he still got... No, he actually got last place here. So needless to say, bye boy. Another was expelled from UA. I'm just saying that right here, right now. You all are probably glad for that. I don't care because some other times I'm going to have him still stay. But regardless, this happens, and All Might was not made aware of this beforehand. So when he realizes this, he realizes that, well, there's going to be one student who has no partner here. All Might decides to let the kids decide who would want to be the one to actually go by themselves, be a hero or villain by themselves, have no partner, and go up against two people at once. Izuku was the first one to raise his hand here, okay? Izuku is a reincarnation of Kaido, okay? Sometimes he has that battle lust, you know it. I know some people out there, some of y'all just like to fight for some reason. And it's not all the time, I get that. But sometimes you guys will go crazy on the battlefield. This is exactly what Izuku was experiencing right now. He had that intense race in his heart. He wanted that action. He wanted to fight. He wanted to experience the thrill of being a hero. So when All Might sees this, he's like, okay, that's actually a perfect choice here. Because he realizes that if Izuku had a partner, he would basically be able to dominate. Why? Because Izuku can turn into a literal dragon. And even without the dragon form, this boy is already super strong. So that's why All Might was like, okay, good boy. And he assigned Izuku the role of a hero in this one. He still ends up going up against Bakugo and Ida. But here's where things really start to turn, okay? Bakugo looks to Ida. He's furious that Izuku was made the person that he had to go up against. He was furious that Izuku ended up being given the hero role, and he had to go up against him. It was even worse with the fact that Izuku was going solo here. It was as if Izuku was trying to mock him. It was as if Izuku and All Might were both trying to mock him or something. But he looks to Ida and is like, dude, here is what we have to do. What we need to do in this situation is actually team up, because I've experienced trying to fight this dude way too many times in my life. And every single time, I have never won against this guy. And it is so frustrating. I know I don't have a chance against him. At least by myself anyways. So that's why we need to team up. We need to work as partners here. And actually make sure Izuku does not get the bomb. Ida agrees to this. And they decide to try and blitz Izuku, honestly. And try and endure Izuku. And try and slow him down for as long as possible. So when the timer goes up, he wouldn't make it to the bomb. Ida's like, okay, alright, sounds like a solid idea. The 5 minutes pass and it's time for Izuku to go after the bomb. So where was I? Yeah. So as soon as the timer goes off, Izuku already tries to run into the building. He already looked through the map. He already studied the whole building area, so he's just charging in now, trying to go through all of the stairs, try and look through every single room in order to find the bomb. Bakugo, he rushes in and he does not hold anything. He does not hold anything back this time around. As soon as he sees Izuku, he launches off a huge explosion from his grenade gauntlets, which is already like a foul to All Might, because he notices this. To any other individual, this could have actually killed them, but All Might knows that Izuku is a pretty tough cookie. So he chooses to clench his jaw here. He decides not to say anything here. Ida was about to say something, but when he sees that Izuku is completely unharmed, even though he took a full-on explosion to the face, and he's not even showing any signs of even noticing it. He's like, wait. So was that the best you got, Bakugo? Bakugo is just kind of scared right now because he's already angry. He's angry at himself, actually. He's angry that he's not strong enough to contest against Izuku. And so when Ida tries to say something and notices that Bakugo is just standing there, shaking, he decides not to say anything, but instead rushes in, trying to fight Izuku as well. Izuku just grabs Ida's leg and throws him to the other side of the building. Izuku just treats him like fodder, honestly. Bakugo tries and attack Izuku again, but Izuku just backhands him. He is tired of Bakugo, honestly. He doesn't really feel like trying to fight him right now. He has a goal in mind and he plans on completing that goal. He plans on winning this assignment. He tries to charge in. He tries to run up the stairs, but Bakugo is not having that. He tries to grab onto Izuku's leg, but Izuku kicks him away. Ida tries to trip Izuku, but Izuku, he's not falling for that. Well, he actually did fall, but he just lifts himself back up and continues running off. He does not have time to deal with these two, honestly. Bakugo tries and just, I don't know how to describe it, but he just tries to launch a rapid fire explosion at Izuku. None of them seem to do any sort of damage to Izuku. The only sign of damage that he saw was really in the cloth. The cloth, that material that Izuku had around his waist. And that's pretty much what made Bakugo furious. So he realized that he needs to do something. He tries to launch another grand scale explosion at Izuku in hopes that this would affect him again. And when I say again, I mean hopefully this time around. Maybe this time around it would actually do something. But Izuku sees this from a mile away and just grabs onto the gauntlet, crushing it in his hands, and then flings Bakugo away. Ida, he tries to do something, but Izuku, he headbutts Ida this time around, making sure that his horns don't actually connect with Ida, because some seriously bad stuff could happen if he did. He does not feel like accidentally killing one of his classmates here. And he knows that these horns are sharp too. These are not blunt horns. These are very sharp. He runs off and he eventually does find the bomb. These two, they tried to do something here. They tried to use the capture tape on Izuku this time around, but Izuku was just so far out of their league right now. He was just too far gone for them to even stand a chance at this point. And Izuku just touches the bomb. Boom. That's really how I can describe it here. I don't know how else I can describe it besides that. Izuku just obliterates Bakugo and Ida here. Why? Because he's a reincarnation of Kaido. Bakugo just sloops down in the feet. Ida tries to cheer him up, but Bakugo's having none of that. He's like, no, I am so sick of this. And he starts thinking of how he could really ever compete with Izuku. His dream was to become the #1 hero, but how could he do that if he had such a big wall in front of him, such a big obstacle in the form of Izuku, who was someone that he could never defeat, someone just that strong. He was just so incredibly strong that he couldn't figure out how he would ever be able to stand a chance against Izuku. So, but he starts plotting, trying to think of more ways in order to better himself, at the very least. Yay. I don't really have much to say besides that. How long is this right now? 17 minutes? Alright, I'm gonna continue into the USJ. But after that whole fight, these guys all might just applaud Izuku for his quick work of Bakugo and Ida. A whole bunch of the students actually compliment Izuku on just how strong he was. Just how strong he is, actually. Todoroki, he doesn't think much of Izuku, though. Even though Izuku was able to take down both Ida and Bakugo single-handedly, he thought, you know what, he took too long. So that's why when he went up against his opponents, what he just did was freeze the whole building. That was the very first thing he did. Just trying to show that, yeah, I am above this guy. Don't get it twisted. The next day arrives. Basically, similar things happen in canon, actually. Aizawa mentions how both Ida and Bakugo were pretty reckless here, but he also gets on Izuku's case for just being kind of nonchalant against these guys. He was actively trying to just make it to the bomb. He applauded Izuku for trying not to waste time here, but at the same time, he needed to subdue villains. If in a real situation, in a real villain situation, he tried to do what he did back there, things wouldn't work out as pretty as it did back there. Because some of these villains, these guys are sneaky. They will try and get you when you least notice it. He doesn't care how strong Izuku may or may not be. He must never let his guard down around people. And then afterwards, he mentions how they have to do something very important. The class, their hearts start to beat rapidly. they're wondering, okay, what is going to happen? Are we going to have another thing where another student gets expelled or something? But as I just mentioned, this is how they need to pick their class rep. As soon as everybody hears this, everyone just jumps out of their seats. It's like, oh, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me, pick me for a class rep. But Aizawa, he is getting irritated with this. So we just decided to say, you know what? You all get to decide how you want to do this. I'm going to sleep in my sleeping bag. I'm going to just go to sleep in my sleeping bag right now. You all figure this mess out by yourselves. I have no time for you all. Ida brings up how they could do an election. But many of the students mention how they barely even know each other. That's when Ida mentions how, well, since we barely know each other, that means the amount of bias in the votes will be minimal. When Ida brings up that explanation, everyone is like, actually, that's a pretty smart idea now that you mention that part. We barely know each other, so that means there won't be any bias. So everybody goes along with Ida's idea here. Everybody goes along with Ida's idea. They decide to go along with it, and Azuka ends up getting picked as class rep because here he gets 9 votes instead of like what, 4? Because of the amount of strength he showed back in the battle trials. Azuku doesn't really feel like he's worthy of such a position though. Why? Because, well, he didn't really feel all that interested in such a role. Honestly. At best, it was maybe like some sort of power he would get, I guess. But overall, he wasn't really getting much. He wanted to become a hero, sure, but being class rep, that meant nothing to him. At lunch, Ida mentions how he actually voted for Izuku because he felt that Izuku would have been a great fit for class rep due to just how strong he was. Not just how strong he was, but he seemed rather intelligent as well, coming up with some plans from time to time. Uraraka mentions this as well, how she had voted for Izuku. A couple of others even walk up to Izuku mentioning how they voted for him as well. Izuku thanks them all, but then that's when, what do you call that thing? Yeah, but basically, the whole thing with the news report is still happening as in canon. But the only difference here is, well, this is when Izuku turned into a dragon, okay? He literally calls out everybody saying, alright people, calm your buttocks. Calm your buttocks, people. Why? Because it's only the reporters outside. A couple people freak out though, because they literally see like a southern looking baby blue dragon just pop out of nowhere, who can talk, and it doesn't even look like Ryuku. It's not like Ryuku came to this school or something. So they all lost their, some of them just lost their marbles, but those in class 1A, they recognized this voice, and this is when Bakugo is shocked. And he just falls into a bit of a depression here. Izuku can turn into a dragon, for crying out loud. How is he supposed to compete against that? He was already unable to compete against Izuku beforehand. But now this boy is able to turn into a dragon. A literal dragon from mythology. How do you compete with that? It's not fair. It's like God blessed Izuku, but Bakugo, he just got the scraps. I really shouldn't have said that, but okay. The USJ incident. We have the USJ incident start to happen. Well, this is when things really start to take a turn now. On the bus to the USJ, this Suyu decides to mention how Azuku's quirk is interesting. He seems to have super strength. He seems to have super speed. He has high durability to the point where it seems like nothing can even penetrate his skin. He has horns for whatever reason. And he can turn into a southern dragon. So he's like, so how should I say it? She tries and connects the dots with Izuku's quirk, but Izuku is like, please, just don't worry about it. Don't think too much of it. That's all he has to really say. Suyu decides to accept that, even though she's still curious about Izuku's quirk here. She decides to just leave it be for now. Kaminari mentions how, of all the students, Izuku really had a really high shot at becoming the next All Might, for crying out loud. Todoroki hears this, and this actually piques his interest because he is the son of the number 2 hero Endeavor. He was literally made to. He was literally the whole reason for why he was born was so that he could surpass All Might. And now here we go with Izuku here, who had all these crazy abilities. He was being. Some students were saying that Izuku was basically a shoe-in for becoming the next number 1 hero. The only thing that could really deter. The only thing that would really be a detriment to Izuku's progress in becoming the number 1 hero here is the fact that he had a really intimidating stature. And come on, can you really blame them? He's like, all these guys are like 14 or 15, and this kid is already rocking facial hair, and already it looks like he's on steroids. And he has horns. That too. But yes, Todoroki is still interested in Izuku because he's really wondering, okay, what's up with this kid? Why is he that strong? Is it possible that maybe Izuku was also like was by some sort of quick marriage or something? He decides to save this question for later. He would approach Izuku one day and ask him this question. But they arrive at the USJ. 13 goes over the same things as in canon. But this is when the villains pop out. This is basically where I'm going to leave it for right now. Why? Because I felt like it. And how long is this video right now? 29 minutes long. That sounds good. So here's what I'm going to do. Hold on. Subscribe to my boy Headhunter's Edits, okay? How is he only at like 35 subscribers? He makes very good content. I mean, you can even commission like an intro from him as well, I guess. Like you see all of this, you see all of these fire stuff. Come on, like I'm going to. Wait a minute, hold up. I'm going to actually play one real quick. Shoot. I mean, like, you won't get the sound, of course, but it don't matter. You see how lit this is? And you saying you don't want to subscribe to this man? And you got us to sipping tea. I mean, you're literally seeing this right now. Come on, people. Like, who wouldn't want to subscribe to this dope stuff? Get this man to at least like 50, 50 to like 80 subscribers or something. How do you leave this man 35 subscribers? At least get him to 50 or like 70. Let's go with 80 actually. Shoot. Let's get this man to 85 subscribers by the end of the week. How about that? Come on. It's only fair. Give this man some attention. Give this man some love. And I know that some of you guys may even notice like some new stuff as well. Like when it comes down to that, what if Izuku was Red Hood? What if, you know how all of a sudden now this seems to have a new thumbnail? Like somebody actually made a good thumbnail. This was him. He made that thumbnail. I mean, my boy Margins, he also made me a thumbnail for it, but I just like this one better. But for that, what if Deku was the reincarnation of Kaido? What if the one that I was mentioning before? Margins, my boy Margins, he made that. Who are these people? My boy Margin X. I'm sorry, I didn't know when he changed his name. I forgot he changed his name actually to Margin X. I don't keep track of that stuff. But yeah, he made this what if Deku was the reincarnation of Kaido thumbnail. So be sure to thank him in the comments below. And check out his channel as well. Besides that, remember to hit the like button, share, subscribe, do all that good stuff so we can get more attention from YouTube Senpai. That's pretty much it. King Titan X out. Stay safe, people. Wear your masks, and King Titan X out.